Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zelia, and thank you for joining me as we go over episode 7 of the Yugioh Sevens anime series. And what a crazy episode this was. And one thing about the Sevens that's been really consistent and that has really stood out to me throughout these 7 episodes so far is the comedy and the use of it throughout the series. More importantly, the effects and the impact that the comedy has had within the last 7 episodes, as almost all of the jokes that are used in a way that are very smart, very clever, and doesn't harm the show itself. We have old jokes that stem from episode 1 that still feel really funny even after hearing them a couple of times now, and then we always get new jokes that refreshes the comedy as we go through. And this episode was in fact a very comedic heavy but also very kind of crazy and wacky episode that I really did enjoy. So we start off with the episode focus, and the episode focuses around the character of Mimi, a character that is a 37-year-old female character that is also a mother. However, her appearance is that of like a young child. Now, the idea is she's going to infiltrate the school that Yuga and Ko are in so that she can basically get Yuga's notes about rush dueling so that they can learn the secrets and uninstall it, because Goha Corporation at the moment are a bit stuck as what to do with them. And her introduction in this episode was really good. She has a great dynamic with the main group. I find it very, she blends in nicely with them. It doesn't feel like it's too out there or too landerish, and it flows nicely and they connect very well. And the comedy that she brings with her actions and the fact that she gets mistaken as a young child for most of the time, I thought was really funny. It also plays on a real world struggle with her character, because people do suffer from the type of problem where, of course, they look a lot younger than they actually are. So it's one of those things where they've just got to kind of put up with and try and make their situation a little bit better. One example would be when they constantly get asked for ID or something, when in fact you're actually a lot older and you should be able to afford get the item that you want without being asked, but you look too young, so you are asked. That type of thing. And in terms of her cards that she uses, seeing the old legacy cards like Mystical Elf and Donkito returning, which is actually a spell card in the original, was actually really nice to see, as they have a nice refreshing look that ran with the theme of Mimi's deck, and the fact, of course, being that her cards revolve around the nightlife and skincare kind of goes with her character as well. We know that she likes to kind of go to places that you would rather see the older generation of characters being in. So, for example, if you're looking at nightclubs, you're looking at bars, that's where you would think adults go to. And throughout this episode, she does give hint of herself, like wanting to prove that she is an adult and reminding us that she is. For example, one of the great comedic things that I've seen in this episode was that when she has that phone with her and she's like picking it up all the time and slamming it back down, it is something that an elderly, adult, corporate person would do. They always slam on their phone, they talk aggressively and they slam it back down. It's just, something that I've seen. Or it might just be me, who knows. But I did also like the fact that, yes, her deck revolves around the nightlife and skincare, which is a slight contradiction of each other, and I love the statement and the joke and the phrase that Roman says when she basically says, being up all night is bad for one's skin. And then, the just shock and realization on Mimi's face was just hilarious. Given that the legacy cards come back and they are looking different, is a very smart move, and it plays on the nostalgia for the older fans that are like the fans of the original series, and it gives us new cards in the process. So honestly, when we look at what legacy cards could come back with slightly new designs, I can't wait to see what cards get returned and what cards get redesigned. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and it's a smart move from a writing perspective that I hope they keep up. All in all, I really did like Mimi's character, and to the point where if she returns in future episodes, I honestly wouldn't mind. And the fact that she still is in the school is also quite telling. It means that Goha Corporation is still keeping an eye on Yuga and his friends, and that she's happy to stay. I wouldn't think that Goha Corp would force Mimi to stay if she didn't want to, especially after completing her main focus and her main task, which of course is getting that notebook. Now, talking of the notebook, the confliction about her wanting it, and the duel obviously being the reverse stakes. So the duel was if Yuga wins, then she has to take the notebook, and if she lost, then Yugioh would keep the notebook. I think plays to Mimi's character a little bit. Because while she's been spending time with Yugioh, she's noticed that the Goha Corporation has got things slightly wrong. Yugioh is not this character that is someone that's this mastermind that wants to enslave everybody and kind of, be this big evil entity. No, Mimi obviously grew up believing that Goha Corporation is justice and is correct. But obviously Yugioh is throwing a spanner in that works and is making things a little bit more, branching out and kind of making his own path, while it doesn't include Goha Corporation, and this obviously does sway her decisions a little bit. We see at the end that she's a little bit conflicted as to whether or not to give the notebook back, and I did like that because it does mean that, yes, Yugioh is inspiring other people, even those that are close to Mr. Goha himself, who obviously has the city under his thumb. So I thought that was pretty good. Congratulations on some good writing on that front. So then let's talk about Roman. Personally speaking, I liked Roman in this episode. Okay, I like Roman in pretty much most episodes. But this time around, she shows some good observation skills, and she basically has her suspicions of Mimi right off the bat, which ultimately leads the group to catching Mimi in the act of stealing the notebook. Roman shows super smarts and kind of good intuition, suspicion skills, observation skills, everything like that, and it really does improve her character and show that she is a decent female, which I think Yugioh Sevens has handled female characters relatively well at the moment. We've only seen a few, but I like most of the ones that we've seen so far. On the flip side though, one character that I did not like from this episode was Yugioh himself. I understand that yes, he's a young character, but this episode makes him seem really naive and way too kind. If someone states that they like rush dueling, then to him, that's basically, they're instantly friends. And he will believe anyone, because his mindset is that anyone who likes rush duels can't be a bad person. Now this, to me, is my biggest complaint with Yugioh's character. He is way too trusting, way too naive, and I do wish/hope that we get some more development from Yugioh's character so that he can improve his mindset and his ideals and learn to not be too trusting. I like a character that is a bit skeptical and can kind of understand when he's being tricked. Yugioh at the moment cannot. As soon as someone says, oh, rush duels are so great, I want to know more about them. No matter what they do, no matter how suspicious their actions look, then obviously Yugioh is going to be on their side. We see this with Mimi, we see the whole other group, Rook, Roman, Gakuto, they're all like, no, Yugioh, this is a bad thing. She's trying to steal something that's important to you. And then he's just there like, nah, she ain't a bad person, she likes rush duels. Stop. Develop his character a bit more, make him back into a protagonist that is something that we could, get behind as fans. I like him, don't get me wrong, I like Yugioh, but this episode, unfortunately, made me kind of drop him a little bit in terms of how much I like him. On the plus side though, Yugioh does show a new card, or some new cards in this episode, that I think are really cool and are 100 times better than Sevens Road Magicians. And this card is Brave of the Dawn Landcross? I think I've said that right as well. Sometimes his names can be a bit awkward. And honestly, I prefer this card way more than Sevens Road Magician, just from a design standpoint, from a skill standpoint, and just in general. I don't like Sevens Road Magician at all. It's just it's a really horrible card to look at. But this card, really good, really cool. Exciting to see it more, and hopefully we get to see more of this card moving forward, because it does appear in the opening, so it should be something that's very, very forefront of Yugioh's deck. But overall, I thought this episode was really creative and really fun, and next week's episode looks to be even more wilder. You see motorbikers, you see loads of crazy stuff going on. However, join me next week for that. And let me know all of your thoughts on this episode down in the comment section below. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And of course, I hope you have an amazing day. Alligator, matane, goodbye.